Blessed love family, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. We give thanks continually for each and every one that is now with us. We are definitely in the tiger's nest and wonderful joy even at this time. Of course, still going through with the Black History Month essay competition. We officially launched the aspect of it where the young ones will be sending in their essays as it relates to this competition. This is a national competition now, and we had a wonderful interview today with Brother Dave Lester Payne, and I will be uploading that to the YouTube channel as well. And of course, on Radio Anu, ones will be able to get a bit of that. But this evening, family, as I said, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, the father and mother of creation, King Alpha and Queen Omega. I have with me two esteemed brethren within the faith of Rastafari. I have the Honorable Priest Dougie, specifically a priest of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church of True Divine Salvation. I would just like to begin first of all by just saying, blessed love, Honorable Priest Dougie.
My Lord, blessed, heart of love to everyone.
Give thanks continually. And we also have the Honorable Bongo Flako, some would say Bingi Flako, Flako specifically, I would say representing the Nyabingi theocracy of Rastafari, and of course, an esteemed individual amongst us. Ones know the works that the elder Bongo Flako will be doing amongst the elders themselves, the ancients. So his works goes without saying. I would just like to say, blessed evening, my Lord. Give thanks for your presence. And yeah.
Wonderful greetings and blessings. Thanksgiving for the time. And I have great value, so we'll just make sure everything is airy within this space. Give thanks.
Rastafari, give thanks. Well, my brethren, we're going to go straight in the reasoning. I myself just came in off of an interview, as I said, that I was doing. So I'm going to be setting my chalice even as we speak in here. But what I really wanted to get into this evening, and why I asked for these two specific angels to come and sit with I, is to reason about, the words of Haile Selassie I as it relates to organize and centralize. Now, if it's one thing, you have different outlooks on Rastafari. And even at the time, from my understanding, when this was uttered, it was a time when even 31 heads of, not heads of state, but heads of Rastafari gathered in King's House, and they all were greeted by His Majesty. And the elders even received gold medals. Now, I see that very symbolic to even 1963, when the Organization of African Unity was formed, in the sense that, and here the name, the organization, that's the word, the key word that has been taken out of the phrase now. It's now the African Union, but the Organization of African Unity, if you notice, it was 32 states, 32 free states, including Ethiopia. So it was Ethiopia plus 31, free states in Africa that gathered. Just like when Haile Selassie went to Jamaica, it was Haile Selassie and the 31, you understand, members of the different houses of Rastafari at that time. So I found it very interesting how the same number appears and in the same sort of context where we're trying to organize. And it was in the 1966 visit, if I'm correct, where the emperor told us, one of the few things the emperor told us as a group is hey, organize and centralize. Is almost like the commandment given to Rastafari as a body, like in the Bible when they said, listen, man, we have a heap of commandments. Which one is the real commandment? When he said, love the Lord and love your brothers. So the emperor gave us a word collectively, organize and centralize. And again, I'm putting it in the context of the Organization of African Unity, where these different countries came together. They had different banners. Some of them had different languages, although they're all African, but they had different cultures, a different anthem, but yet still all of these things may not necessarily be put aside, but we tolerated them at least where we could work together in one unison. So we take a lot of the things that Haile Selassie did on the governmental level and geopolitical level, and we can superimpose it now even on the Rastafari itself movement level. So that's why I'm using that balance. So I will start with you, Bingi Flako. I hope my explanation was understandable. When the emperor says to I organize and centralize, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the I heard say that, you know, that as groups we are organized. It's one of the two of the I. As groups we are organized, which I still think we need some more organization within our groups, but as groups we're organized and we need to centralize. Can you tell me, how much ever time it takes you to explain yourself properly, what does it mean to you for us to, or when the king said, organize and centralize? Blessed love. Bingi Flako first.
Thanksgiving Rastafari family.
Gracias.
The words was even said to Mortimer Plano when he went on a mission. So we have noticed that over the many years, it is just word speaking for I Rastafari and not the importance of the message from the King, King of Kings, giant flesh. But when I look on house and mansions, they are organized. So one part of it we get, but not their leadership, their rules and regulations. That is very clear between the Nabingi, the 12 tribes, and the Congress, the ABIC. And I see serious levels of organization. But when it comes to the centralization or the meeting for collectiveness going forward, we have not seen that. We have not seen, each one will speak about repatriation and reparations. But how is that going forward? Within the structure of Rastafari, let's first look on the Ethiopian World Federation. That came within an organized and centralized projection, same way, but due to semantics, man says federation, too light. Those who are with federation were not dreadlocks Rastafari.
True.
They're seen. So, but remember, house and mansion came out of the Ethiopian World Federation. All of them. So when you look on the old thing, it's like you're playing with fire. What the king says we're not dealing with, but we're dealing with our individual selves. So we're stuck in a groove. Look, we have the RCO came. Rastafari Centralization Organization. Very well, I was a part of it in the latter part of it.
We get a stick in there. Who's stick?
Very good, because if now if you take a notice, you can see, my lord.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
Right. This is a paper from Rastafari Centralization Organization. It is from March 26, the 28th, 1999. So we can see they have pamphlets, they have procedures, but they're still limited within a zone. When that was say dissolved, so to speak, or improved, you have the Caribbean, the CRO.
CRO, of course.
Yes, which is another level of that. And then one will say that they are stuck in the Caribbean, they are not more, the centralization wasn't there. Where you still see the organization.
Yes, I hear. Yes.
You see? And then when we look on another effort of the written 1983 convention with the 22 points, I can see say from that 22 points is a lot of information there now. Where you could say yes, great organization, there are steps for centralization. But one will say it's too much Nyabingi. It doesn't include the other mansions. Someone will say, okay, that's a bingy thing. We're not dealing with that. So I'm not stuck in that way. And recently, because look on the Rita. I asked Bongo Tani, say Bongo Tani, why was not the Rita improved on? He said, Flako, the Asians can't do that, you know. The youths them should do that. So when I look on it, I say, what can I do then, Asian Bongo Tani? I look and I say, I start to create the Wise Mind publications. I took it from that to create a literature document, Asians, the Asian Livity. We took that. And when we look, and then I thought of looking on the Rastafari Global Secretariat. We started that at the 50th anniversary of His Majesty's visit to Jamaica, with Shango Bako and Ross Robbie and that scene. And then one say, hey, we're not dealing with that neither. There's more semantics, and who is creating, who is trying to rally ones and ones within the decentralization point. Because although individuals are organized intellectually,
yes.
So when you put out that intellectual card, one's drawing cards and say, no, we're not into that. We're not into that with you. So we had a launch in Jamaica. They further had a launch in Shashamane, trying to get that going. What was there was to get a bank, a central bank to run the money. All of that was done, but not going anywhere. Recently, the all mansion of Rastafari was called. Sandy Davis came to Pitford, and Fred Lock's sister said, hey, they had a vision of all mansion of Rastafari right now. It's a great idea. That was 2005.
Yeah, around that time.
I was the first secretary. Junior Manning was the first chair. 2008, it changed to Rastafari Millennium Council.
Okay.
Someone pointing fingers at the Millennium Council, you're out of step. What was the ancients who organized, who structured the Millennium Council? On the keynote of Organize and Centralize, because within their mandate, they still organize and centralize, but they are more towards intellectual property rights. I see. So we can say things are going, but you have a lot of power struggle between man and man, intellectual power struggle. Who more learn that who's supposed to do what and that. So I find that it boils down to the individuals then, or the willingness for all intellectual minds to come together and say, yes, this is what the king says. Let us put differences aside.
Right. So
how are we going to repatriate? How are we going to claim reparation money? How are we going to do all of that if we are not organized as one Rastafari?
I wanted to ask. Sorry to cut you, but I wanted to ask. When you mentioned the Ethiopian World Federation, you hinted that when the king said, although you mentioned all the different groups, some of which I myself had an integral part of, being like CRO for sure. But when you said the Ethiopian World Federation, when the emperor said organize and centralize, am I getting from you that technically that's what he was talking about? Come in to be a part of this, because this is where the whole game is. And then there was one saying, boy, federation, and so because Bobo Shanti, when I come into Bobo Shanti, I hear that man, do not deal with the Ethiopian World Federation. And I hear the fed apart, but because it's federation.
Yes, and then honestly, Maliko Beno's right, because he did it. And represents His Majesty, Maliko Ben.
Okay.
He came with a constitution. He came with welfare. He came with banking. He's fully structured, I myself is federation, local 32.
Right.
I see. But we had problems with the New York House. And the headquarters is based in New York. And all the branches. So what will happen is that you come back to the technocrats then in the movement. Or we mobilize one so the grassroots people will gravitate to it. We have to do like more a campaign around the island, because the delegates came from New York to Jamaica to us.
Yes.
And we structured. We were able to help Local 17, which is in Oche, right? So what I'm saying, when you have a constitution,
yes,
within the movement is a template that we should not put aside. So the emperor had it right, and Malik Obein had it right, but we still pushing around within house and mansion framework. And as a result, even Shashamane land grant, look at it, look at Shashamane today. We're not organized enough, not centralized enough, and we're losing ground in that method. Being sent one to Shashamane, but did not maintain them.
Yes.
If the great Jalai went to Ethiopia, and he died there. You see, so we have to look on all these things that we did not get done. We are still yet to get it right.
So let me get to give thanks for such word sound, my Lord. And even as you mentioned the elders, we will get to some of that, because you're a man that deal with the elders. And remember the last time I interviewed you, I was asking you if I could get an interview with Bongo Isaac, and you were showing me,
he passed.
He passed on. Oh my.
Yes.
All right. But Honorable Priest Dougie, will give thanks, basically I'm asking the same thing from your perspective. When the Emperor says organize and centralize, what does it mean? But I'm just going to prep a few things. You could address it how you desire in your answer, or straight away. Because when Bingi Flako was speaking there a moment ago, he made a mystic statement. Like, ones would say that enough of them organization are too bingy. And I myself, when it was called ECRO first, Eastern Caribbean Organization Rastafari, I remember when it was formed. And then for that same reason, one said, no, we have to kind of spread the wings, so Caribbean Rastafari Organization. And yet still, a lot of ones from England and even in Central America and so would still come around when we had these different conferences in these Caribbean islands, etc., etc. But I remember once in the formation of that, and the conference was right here in Antigua, and I remember they were selecting like a spiritual elder, and the protocol of the spiritual elder was to teach the Nyabingi order and the express and so on, so on, so on, so. Now, in reality, at that time, there wasn't really too much Bobo Shanti around here. So I was like a little lone vibes there, and meaning little too, because I was young in the scene. But reading, the Constitution, or what would be the Constitution, and that's a while back, there was an elder around here by the name of Bongo Herman. I can remember that clearly. And they were looking to make him the spiritual elder. So I rose up in my little self and said, so the spiritual elder now, because from my understanding, this is a group that's supposed to be an umbrella organization for all Rastafari. So I was asking, so where's the space for the Bobo Shanti? What? Who tell me to say that? Then the whole thing turned into a theological debate, Man said, no, man, no, it's one order here. And that's really what it came out to. I just kind of, I had to defend myself a little bit, but for the most part, I just kind of sat down and take the fire as it came. One order, and Nyabingi is the original order. And then once we start to quote you and say, well, listen, man, everybody come out of this, even Bongo Eddie was with us. And I mean, not denying the history, but what happened there now is that it was no more an umbrella for all. It was like, listen, we have the right thing, it's best to just come and deal with us and done. So I'm saying that even in the aspect when they said it was too bingy, because I have that little first-hand experience to some degree. But the Honorable Priest Dougie has even sat with me before and have given me history of his own witnessing of the Honorable King Emmanuel himself making different attempts to bring all Rastafari together. And I would like to even ask, when you make your expression, my brother, if Bobo Shanti does tend to stay away, because other Rastafari does say that about Bobo, that Bobo does tend to stay away from certain gathering. And I know Bobo Shanti very strict, even King Emmanuel very strict when it comes to certain coming together and going certain places, especially under certain banners. But even you yourself, Priest Dougie, would have explained that, listen, there's time that King Emmanuel put all them thing aside just to make sure the unity go through. So in all what I prepped there, I just kind of gave you some things to feed on. I would like DI, of course, take your time and express to us what organize and centralize amongst Rastafari means to the I coming from the King's mouth. Rastafari, blessed Lord, my Lord. And I say,
yes, I.
Oh God.
Yeah, man. Organize and centralize.
Oh God.
Being a Flako kind of define it. So we're not going to be repetitious and use the time valuable. The houses are the organizations. The centralization is when we find that family table that we all can sit around and civilly discuss our father's business. And like Bingi Flako said, it has been a fleeting illusion. Many attempts have been made, just like the I say, our father has made, and several attempts as well to be a part of that solidarity. Every time it starts, due to semantics, wits and rights, it falls apart. And if we want to even get deeper, because of egos, you know, and arrogance, it falls apart. All right, with that said, let me address some of the things where they just point out. Yes, as a host, the EABIC, Bobo Ashanti, we tend to not rush to any table and to any gathering when it comes to, you know, what them call collective gathering as such. Why? One, them say once bitten, twice shy. When the father hosted the first Nyabingi Foundation in 1958, at the end of it, he was beaten to near death because of the same solidarity and because of the misbehavior of ones and ones. Because I and I as Rastafari, we tend not to want to follow regulations. We want to burn Babylon, and we don't realize that when them have the angle is we have the blade. True. So sometimes you have to use diplomacy and wise mind to navigate through them hurdles instead of brute force and ignorance. So because of what took place from them time, the father became very cautious, and rightly so. Anyone that got through when got through, and it's not one time him got through it. You know, he became rightly cautious. Now I want to address the 1960 mission to Africa, because that is another scene there of unity. When the government and the University of West Indies administration assembled a delegation to visit Africa to look into repatriation. They invited several Rastafari. Again, the Bobo Ashanti, we answered the first set of invitation to attend their organizing, you know, reasonings to hear. And that is to show you that the father didn't just cast them off just so. He went and he listened. Now, I heard Barry Shevans, Professor Barry Shevans, the late Barry Shevans from the University of the West Indies. Most people know him. Him writing up about Rasta and Pan-African movement. At the 2013 conference, I hear him talk about, and which is something I know about, but I love to hear somebody else give their account. And it was well given by him. When he attended one of the organizing meetings where Rassis and Rassis attended, and Dada, King Emmanuel, with his delegation attended, every man in them whites and so forth. He said everyone was given a time to speak, and when it came to King Emmanuel's time to speak, instead of saying anything, he got up and all his followers got up and exited silently. Barry Chevron said is one of the greatest demonstration of what you call silent, it's a silent, yes, it's a form of demonstration, you know, like how them would have demonstrated.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a silent demonstration, you know, opposing without being rude, without being interruptive or anyway, but it sends home the message. And again, it's not the unity the man was fighting, because our father, contrary to what people want to believe, because we have this ignorance about always trying to look at the pettiness, you know. It is not the unity, it is always the structure of the unity. How is the unity structured? Earlier, Bingi Flako said there is attempts at organizing where it was too Bingi heavy.
Yes. Mm.
And it would be said maybe at other times that it was 212 tribe heavy or 2 Bobo heavy.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
We don't find the balance. We don't find the balance because we're not using proven methods. We're still trying to defy everything and not use our wise mind, because there are proven methods that work, that we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having a million ones come to these meetings and these gatherings, you select your representatives that from different mansions that gather and do their negotiating, their meeting, their reasoning, their whatever it is. And each come back now and give the house a report. The house make them decisions and whatever. And it's a process. Always the attempt of trying to get authorization from large masses, a large mass,
yes,
it's always problematic. So you find that a lot of our attempts, we make them at these gatherings, these conferences, like the 2003 conference, and these conferences where a whole lot of people with different agendas, personal reasons for what they want to do and all of that is there. And not everyone is focused on the same initiative. Even though the theme of the conference might be about unity, each person is coming there with a different, that a lot of time, if you have attended these conferences over the years, like I and I have, out of 3 days of reasoning, if you get 2 hours worth of substance, you get a lot.
Tell me about it.
So it's the structuring of things that is causing the problem. No, I want to touch on one more thing.
Yes, go ahead, please.
We talk about Nayabing. We talk about Nayabing. And we act as if the theocracy order is the only Nayabing.
Right.
Is Rastafari. Nayabing is Rastafari. When the man say it started together, Prince Emmanuel started with them. They all started together because the whole thing is Nayabing. What I and I say we're chanting. What does the book want? They're not Nayabing. We are just, it's like in Africa, we are just a different tribe with a little different version that fits our culture or our theology. That is all it is, but we are one Nyabingi family. Any Rastaman that reject the order of Nyabingi don't know him Rastafari history, him don't fully know what is and who is Rastafari. That's why over the years, Iman and my Naya theocracy brethren them, I've never been at odds. I never see them as competitors or adversaries. I grew up with Ras Miguel. Okay, I grew up with Rasai Vai, Aibo, Rasai Ville. I grew up at the foot of Bongo Wato, Bongo Time, Bongo Puro. IRV. The whole of the man them can tell you. Them know I from youthful days. And I have always held all of them in high esteem, just like how I hold any bubble. Mm-hmm. Same thing with my 12 tribe brethren. Roots Foundation is I and Ras Jabalani. Ras Jabalani is 12 tribe.
Yes, sir.
Long time 12 tribe brethren. Long standing 12 tribe brethren. And I and him have moved for many years, don't see no difference. We live together, we don't see no difference. I am a Sabbath keeper, and the rest live with I, and we don't see no difference. Him don't violate my Sabbath, I don't feel uncomfortable around him because him totally have the fullness and the I spec, you understand, for I, just like how I have it for him.
Yes, sir.
That is where we need to come to. That is a problem that we're having. We are acting like there is a power that we are jostling for, like we are GLP and PMP. There's no power. There's nothing. We have nothing. Let us construct something now, then we can have something to quarrel about and to fight over then. But we have nothing. We are building from scratch.
Yes, man.
Our initiative is repatriation. Our initiative is repatriation. And if we want that, we have to work together. That's where the centralization come in. Without centralization, there will be no reparations, no repatriation.
Right.
As if man know the reparation document, repatriation is a part of the restorative justice. So it falls under reparation. See? And there will be no reparation to 20 different entities asking for 20 different things. We're living in the 21st century. We claim that we are living in these civil societies where most of us have been educated, have been taught at least some level of reading and writing. Beyond that, we have intellect, we have wise mind. Our father put that in all of I and I. Let us sit down now and as brethren and brethren who healing the same heal, Rastafari, find a common ground on which we can build a framework that can represent us, not just in repatriation, but in every endeavor, because we are economically challenged. Give thanks.
Yes, far right. The spirit that you're saying that you have with the brethren is a spirit of brotherhood. But now, that's just a kindred spirit there. But I'm just asking you one more question there, please, Dougie, before even we hear. So if reparation or repatriation, whatever, doesn't come unless we centralize, all right. But the word is that we are organized now and we need to centralize. I understand. We are part of organizations who, especially in their inception, were well organized. I mean, I can speak of the Bobo Shanti order. Of course, you can speak of it, well organized. But don't you believe in our individual houses that we either need to organize or reorganize ourselves before we can come to the party together and then centralize? And why I say that is that, for example, you were speaking about sending representatives, all right. The last time you were with, the previous time you were with I, we were talking about the presidency of the Congress. And we know the situation is a discussion that's hot now and where we are, and not just the presidency, you know, but there's the Congress itself, Parliament and headquarters and these different things. So it would appear, and it's not just I and I, you know, but just I'm using that for what I know. It would appear that there's some organizing that needs, or reorganizing that needs to be done, because if that's not done properly, when we come to the centralizing table, is going to be confusing. It might be, we might be smashing heads with one another on that level there. So as far as organizing amongst ourselves, don't you think that is necessary before we even really try to hit the hard centralized hammer? Please, Dougie.
Yeah, reality, my virgin. Yeah. Like Bingy again after follow Bingy Flako's lead. He attests to that within his own framework, that, you know, because of whatever. It's the same thing in all. Every mansion right now, no matter how we want to pretend that we have everything is, you know, like Jamaica always said, Jamaica no problem, when Jamaica full of problem. You know, we have this pretense. Yeah, we have this pretense about us. But the reality of it is all the mansions are at a crossroads, trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And as I say, until we figure it out, there can be no centralization. You understand? Because one set of man come and say them is representing the house, and next set of man in the house, so you don't represent them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There's all kinds of different confusion that is going on right now.
My
lord, you know what is detrimental though? What is detrimental is that time waits and no man. When the time, like them say, everything in its time, when the time is ready for a ideology, an idea, an initiative, the time is ready and it's not gonna wait. And when the time is past, it's past, and you have lost that opportunity. We lost an opportunity of being repatriated in 1966. I've heard the elders them speak of this. When His Majesty came down, I hear Dada himself, not second hand, straight from Prince Emmanuel mouth, about 1966, we should have gone home. It was, if we had the unity that we're speaking about right now, that umbrella that represented all groups, see, and we were ready, the process of repatriation would have started then. It wouldn't still be a dream today. And I've heard several elders speak of that moment. But we were not ready. They might say the time wasn't right. Well, if we miss that opportunity, we are blessed again to be in this time where reparations is a topical issue today. It has finally reached the halls of Babylon's discussion. So again, are we going to allow the opportunity to slide by because of our ignorance, because we refuse to heed His Majesty's speech, to put aside petty differences? The man said him don't see no obstacle to unity. Because men have desperate to come together for whatever initiative that is important to them. So I and I, who is Rastafari and who are the Almighty children, it shouldn't be taking us, because we profess these things. We look like Christ, we are all of these things. But we're not acting like Christ, we're not acting like His Majesty. And we're not studying the message, like Flako said. Again, we're not taking the message from these messengers. The OAU, the strategy was used, Brethren. There was a strategy used to form the OAU. It wasn't easy. You had what you call blocks at the time, the Monrovia, the Casablanca, and the Brazzaville, all different blocks. And all different blocks of states clinging together, Brethren and Brethren went to school, whatever, but them clinging together as clinging. And they all refused to form in a unity with each other.
Yeah.
Like they would a federation with each other, so they can come together and pull their strengths and fight for the liberation of the rest of Africa. So it's Majesty knew that the rest of Africa, without the rest of Africa being liberated, like he said in his speech again, until all man stand and speak as free being before God and man. You see, none of us is free until all is free. So because of that, he did what he did. He sent out emissaries and he found a way to penetrate each block and offer to each block and put the thing to them in such a way, showing them the benefits of the OAU, the benefits, the security that it would bring. You understand the benefits. So there is methodology there showing us how to forge our unity.
Methodology, right.
We are being stubborn and stiff-necked children. We are being stubborn and stiff-necked children and not following the format that our father, the man that we say we hear.
Well, I'll bring in Bongo Flako there. You said a lot, the priest Dougie, that I want to actually dovetail on. Not ones like the piggyback. We ain't piggybacking on nothing here. We dovetailing, yeah, as you say, we hail the man. And what the priest brought forward a moment ago, Bingi, is that the emperor, in how he gathered the different blocks together. I find that, because if you notice, I began by using that whole template of the OAU and kind of cross it over to the 1966. So not cross really, but passed it over to the 1966. with the numbers of the elders and the countries. But now, as you said, and which is true, that is history. They had these different factions that were kind of a little tug of war, and it is through the emperor, and that's one of the aspects of the emperor that we need to check, how he's really the peacemaker, because one would argue that, I've heard the argument, people saying, oh, it's Kwame Nkrumah that really spark it off for the OAU. It's not about who first, we're not in that, but you must admit that it is the shrewd movement of the emperor that brought them to peace together, that they could come in Addis Ababa in 1963 and organize the African unity there. So
bring it Flako. I have to say one thing before you come in, my virgin, and the floor is yours. Just one thing. No, right now, Kwame Nkrumah. No, man. Even when they went to Kamal Nasser, they went to him first and wanted him to be the first president general. Okay, and Kamal Nasser said, "No, man. The father of Africa is Haile Selassie, baby. This." Him supposed to be the first chairperson of it. Okay. The man know the mystery and read the mystery, man.
Yeah, man.
I listen baby that the OAU, it was his strategy. That is where that proves his ingenuity. That is one of the things that Chicken Nick, Richard Nixon, wrote about when he welcomed him. Flako.
Rastafari. Yes, Bingy Flako. So tell me now, I know you're keeping some notes too. So understanding the strategy the emperor showed us, I mean, how from your perspective, how is it we going to do it at this point? I mean, there is a man that deal with all the elders, they have youths just coming into this, you have different ideas, different tug of war. Most Rastaman just want to win, no matter even if they're in a group, no man on their own thing. And just by them, but so what it is, how is it going to be solved? And just from your idea.
Rastafari, give thanks.
I know I'm gonna like my chalice.
A lot of things, but honestly speaking, the Nyabingi was not prepared for this. Nyabingi, in its glory of 7 priests, including the high priest, have never prepared that the priesthood will be as it is today. At present, there's no priesthood. No high priest and no 7 priests.
I hear you talk about that all the time.
So the Nyabingi is without that. The question is, should we dissolve the priesthood and go back to groundation? Forget the tabernacle. That all these priests are volunteer priests. They are not legally registered. They cannot do marriage, they cannot do sanctification, they cannot sign no legal documents. Some of these priests, they don't deal with rites of passage because they are Nazarite and they don't look on dead. Give thanks that Bongo Isaac was Ethiopian Orthodox.
Yeah.
And even when the Ethiopian Orthodox priest came, I got him. We were not familiar with the chants. We were not familiar with the routine. But respectfully, we stood there. The thing with Nyabingi is reorganizing now. Is Nyabingi willing to sit down, critique themselves, and decide which way they want to go? And that's a challenge with Nyabingi. We cannot say there's administrative council. We cannot say there's a youth council. We cannot say there's a sisters council. We cannot say there's a priesthood. I'm talking straight. Nyabingi is in a reformation, but are one willing? What you have is one say they are Rastafari. They don't need no office. They are just Rastafari. It don't work like that.
One away.
Yeah, so they come and pack up the thing and run it their own way. It's like a bad man, done man thing. It don't work.
Okay, I get you now.
It don't work. So what we are saying, the beauty about Nyabingi is a house of Isis. We chant and we bonfire and we tear down everything which is possible. That is a Nyabingi fire. You have the fire key outside, raging fire, and you have a altar inside.
Inside, yeah. Oh my.
That's it. So when it comes to reasoning now, technical reason of restructuring, you're not having that. So within Organize and Centralize, first, we could not say we are ready for that at this time until we are restructured. We'll have to decide. We have a problem in being stamped and sealed also. Who will stamp the documents of the house? Where is the stamp and seal? So we have technical administrative problems that people are scratching their head to fix. It should not be so. Because within the timeline of Nyabingi, there is no understudy ones. So we don't want trot home because one living in flesh, That's a reality. The Nyabingi was live forever. We realize now that man go shed flesh and go to a different realms. So where are the replacements for those ones? Where's the training ground to take over the mantle when one step out? So there's a big vacuum within the Nyabingi house. And what we realize, like South Africa, is over 3 million Rasta, which is more than the population of Jamaica. So Nyabingi himself has outgrown Jamaica, sadly to say. And ones are looking on Jamaica, say, Jamaica, what are you dealing with when it comes to Bingi realities? What guidance are you willing to give us outside of Jamaica? You see? So when you can say, another high point is the Rastafari collective security. Are the Bingi, the Ashanti and the 12 tribe willing to sit down now, put the scheme on side and deal with Rastafari collective security? We learn that even Bingi Ireland, Locks was cut.
Yeah,
when he was in hospital.
Yeah, man.
What's going on with those atrocities? So who is providing that collective security for all Rastafari?
And that's before the sister was locked. Sorry. I was just saying that's before the young sister's locks was cut.
But then we learned that she had mental problems and we stood the ground with her now. And now we know DPP says something is wrong with her mentally. So and then again, I find out within my administration circles, there are youths in school due to the COVID. So they're going to school with plaque now. And in school we don't have none of that. And we have to try to sign papers for them, say their mother and father is not Rastafari, but their nieces and nephews and uncles are Rastafari. So what do you do? Then they say, okay, Nyabingi, you defend these ones. How can you defend them if their blood parents are not Rastafari?
Rastafari, I hear you.
So you come back with the administration. How would you administrate these needs of the ones? That's it. Come back to the collective security. What is Baba Shanti views on wearing of locks, cutting of locks? What is 12 tribe views on it? So we have to come to a table to discuss all those prominent matters, because we have to. How are we going to move to repatriation? Are we going to solve our problems, common problems, if we are not sitting at the table? What is presenting executive of the houses then to sit at a table and reason on these problems?
Yes, I.
There was a delegation to Panama. And when Baba Shanti came to Pit 4 in the tabernacle, there was an emblem problem.
You know how you go.
We should not be within the tabernacle. And there was a little bad vibe between Nyabingi and the emblem. It should not be, because we should respect the other houses for their stance within their emblems, not their position. So they respect our same way. So we have to overcome the emblem hurdle and the food doctrine and the smoking hurdles. Because we notice now, man a floss. He might drink alcohol, he might smoke weed. Now you see, herb. I might drink the boom and the chaser. All the youth them doing that,
Yeah, man.
So it's a indiscipline within the youths. So if there's no council of ancients then to sit and reason, guide the youths. But Nyabingi don't have that right now. Nyabingi is trying to reform. So where we go say, Baba Shanti could come in as a foundation house And then they begin to restructure also the 12 tribe. So we can't sit and do it alone.
Yeah.
Because there are ancients all over Jamaica, you know. It is just not Bingi ancients. Because it's one Rastafari. So how are we going to adjust the one Rastafari for I and I all if the mansions are split on some technical terms and not willing to sit on a table? Because even for the all mansion, we could never get no one from the House of Congress to sit in at a meeting. Who sat at the all mansion were not in representatives of Congress represent themselves. As a result, you could not go forward.
Yeah.
So I want to know, even from Prince Dougie, who are assigned to do outdoor work then within the Congress to go visit Nyabingi, to visit 12 tribe, to visit those who are even not within the house and mansion. Because remember, you know, there are many Rastafari who say them born house and mansion. Let me just Rasta. What are we going to do about them? Are we going to restrict ourselves to the two main mansions? How the repatriation will go? I'm going to say, okay, Ms. Rasta, come my grandfather and great-grandfather Rasta, so Ms. Rasta, although you don't see on locks.
Yeah, I get your point now.
He said, no, because me no locks, Ms. Rasta. I tell me this, I that, you know. I cannot deny him of their faith. Don't. We can restrict them. So you must have a discussion. One of my brethren was saying that we need a Rastafari constitution that governs all, that incorporate all the mansions, legally signed document of a global constitution that covers all mansions and non-Rastafari. Because if we still going to stuck within the mansion frame, there are going to be problems. We're not going to see eye to eye because little food doctrine and alcohol and ways of life. The thing is that it's one Haile Selassie for I all. One Nyabingi. Because Nyabingi born everything, you know. And Bobo Shanti born the same thing. 12 tribe born the same thing. So that is the collective strength, the revolutionary passion that we have for repatriation and reparations. So if in the sense that is unification of the houses make we lose in that focus. So why when the representative to government, we only see Nyabingi? We're all in discussions about the word, the IRIC, the word IRI.
Yeah.
The IRIDEX, wearing that, we learned that was thrown out. It was the angelic eyes of Warika, you know. The eye cross bag man, them, you know. The tar rod man, them, what 8-foot rod, you know, when they wear crocus bag. When I sleep with woman, what cook 100 pepper in and sip, you know. When I touch money, and them the man there, you know.
The man is I man.
I. And then create the I chant, the chant without words, the I chant. That is like
Iris. Man like Bongo Iris.
Yes,
yeah,
am I twin? We know him personal.
Yeah, man, I'm a father that man.
And his mother for Rika, who created the word Ayarik from the word Amaric. They are still alive. So we have to open the discussion and incorporate some of the foundation ones them now to bring forth the same organize and centralize.
Of course.
Remember, you know, Mama Desta put out a paper, see me, of a Rastafari Anniversary Declaration. Have you seen it? Mama Desta put out a paper, Rastafari Anniversary Declaration.
I believe Dougie would have.
I never see Bongo Flako. I not get that, and it's out there. A man like you supposed to don't see that and peruse that already and make your opinion on that Rasta. A man, I like to have records of the like the eye. That's important. That if you look through Rasta and put your stamp on it same way.
Yes, Bingy. I did that. I did that because let's just share it with I. And they want a ratification from the House. And we did that.
Well,
so
I made it ratified.
Okay. Yeah, it was ratified. But there again, you have Ras Elijah Tafari was a document about reform the United Nations. That's right. So there are many documents out there in the public domain that need a review. So if we are not on a collective fronts, all these intellectuals creating documents, Rastafari solid documents saying way, and they are not in any mansions. They are just Rastafari. So it must be a sitting on the table, and we bring in ones and say, this is how we go. There are papers being produced. There are solid documents around. So let us review it and see how we're gonna go. Because without that, we're gonna stuck in this groove. I mean, I probably never been straight, I've been want to fix it. We not go around that. But
that's good.
It have to be a global fixing of the Nayabing, not Jamaica fixing. Because what happened in Jamaica is affecting the world. They will have to step in and say, Jamaica, well, you need to fix something down here, I'm watching you. Because Rastafari is global. It is not Jamaica anymore. If Baba Shanti is global, bigger than Jamaica. 12 tribes too. I was 12 tribes early days, and I
hold on. Sorry.
Financial at school because I could not pay my dues.
What is it, LA? You 12 tribes?
Make a school and financial.
All right, good.
Money from pay dues. And these are good rules. We just leave that and say, no, you just rasta them. Because these rules and regulations we cannot abide by. Yeah, see? So the main thing is pulling the resources and the technocrats and the intellectuals there and put the semantics aside. Respect the turban, respect the robe, respect the emblem. You see? Respect everything what the house provides. But don't make it come in the way. It's highly Selassie we have to deal with. The Lord giver. That's true.
Yes, all right.
And until we go do that, we have problems.
Well, let me ask you quick there before the priest come in there now. What you said a while ago, you were 12 tribes for 8 days?
Yes, I.
You hearing me? It sounds like you said you're
12. No, you're low. You're coming in low.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's me. Maybe it's pump up the volume and see. You hear me?
What did I say now, Bingy?
Yeah, I was saying, what did you say? You say you're 12 tribes for 8 days?
No, I was saying in my youthful age, I was a dues paying youth in 12 tribe.
Okay.
I was in 12 tribe because of Jalov.
Okay, all right. Okay, no.
I'm a music man.
Okay, no worries.
So therefore, the rules and regulations about it makes you unfinancial.
Right.
Which is not good.
Right. But let me say something here quickly too now. But so what do you think of the Better Selassie, the House of Haile Selassie? I know when we said Nyabingi, I know Nyabingi is more than just the drums, because Nyabingi is a whole institution by itself to talk about. But we don't know Nyabingi. Drums is like, the foundation really to some degree.
Yes.
Outside it is right. And I know that the Better Selassie, that's the Emmanuel Fox.
Yes.
They don't beat the drums. I think it's bells. They have a priest P. He actually lives here in Antigua. I've known him for a while now, with 20 years. So he has been around the order, but he's moved back from America. And so he gave me a lot of teachings on that in the early, I had a lot of material on Emmanuel Fox and how the order runs. So
but he's EWF also, He's EWF. Emmanuel Fox is EWF.
Yes, I understand. You're right, exactly. But in the ceremonial vibes, it's bells they use, ding, ling, ling, some bells and some strings and some little symbols that will deal with the drum. I'm not saying they condemn it, I never really, but I guess you may not label them Nyabingi there. Let's put it that way. Because when I reasoned that with him, he said, no, we don't use the drums, the bells is the ancient way. Whatever the case is. But you see, this thing is it's something like you need surgical gloves here, because there's still a line, because they're those that are always gonna ever be real. I don't know if dogmatic is the term, or fanatic, or
yes,
they're not gonna let go, man. And you don't want to act as if, well, we're going to go to the table without them people here. When I say go to the table, everybody's not at the table, as both of you said. You need representatives, but the representative should be coming with the backing of the full congregation. Nobody home should be grumbling like, the man now gonna talk for me, and you know, it's kind of hefty, and that is why I was saying, no, where we are now, you know, what we can do now, like right now, like what's the step? Because obviously it's something that really, because young people are coming into this, man. That is really my concern. A lot of young ones coming in.
I pray you. I was raised with one on my ancient channel says, we'll have to have a reconciliation. Like a forgiveness, a character presentation. Because what happening, those, they are names reoccurring all the while within the movement. And there's no space for new ones. It's like we'll have to have a different conferencing and facts are faced. What is the obstacles in the movement should be put on the table without any resistance. Honestly, should be there. But we're not getting that. We're getting a one-man, done-man thing. Some abstaining from meetings, some not coming to meetings, some don't like meeting places. So it must be a mediation process then, wherein this is the mediation ground that because we have identified the problems. We clearly identify them, but how to resolve them, more than allowing it to deteriorate worse. Because in some circles, you're getting a deterioration.
Right.
And you're looking outside of Jamaica now, you see more organized and centralized outside of Jamaica. And then we are looking like we are not from the foundation. So not because you have leadership changes, what are the current leaders doing to strengthen the movement? What have they learned from the former leaders? What is their historical document? Or are they stepping up in the movement to make the movement better?
But are these leaders recognized? I mean, who are the leaders? If I was to ask, who are the leaders? Because yes.
Can I chime in?
Yes, of course, my lord.
Yeah. Right now, my lord, we have to be realistic with this thing.
Very much so.
We continuously, there's a old adage. If you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, then you are defined as insane. See? And we have been showing a lot of insanity for a while now. Keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. We are never, well, all right, there is no absolute. So let me not use an absolute. But it will be long and far in between coming where we're gonna get everyone to sign on to an initiative. What is the reality here is each mansion has their wise minds. Let's use that word. Let us leave intelligence out of it.
Wow.
Of their wise minds, of their elders, ancient elders like Bingi Flako, Rasaya V, Rasai Bai, and many more. These are brethren that are sensible brethren. I have heard them speak many times in spaces, saying, what is stopping brethren like that from sitting down with brethren like I and I from the Congress? What is stopping I and I from the Congress sitting down with brethren like that? We have to look at these things and say, there is something wrong here, Rasta. You understand? Why can't we identify the like minds? Because that is where it comes down to, like minds. Just like how some of these earlier groups were founded, the Centralization Committee, or even the Benevolent Society, all of these groups that were founded, they came up through need and through like minds coming together and seeing the purpose. Okay, why can't we come together in the same fashion like minds, because the proof is in the pudding, you know. If you have like minds from the Bingos, like minds from the 12, like minds from the different groups, and I will not leave out School of Vision because I love that group. That group is a very industrious group. You see them, if you have like minds from these different groups coming together and taking an initiative, taking on a project, succeeding in the project, each success that they, you know, like we chant as Bobo, each victory give us another to win. Yes, so, sir. You know, like each incremental victory give us strength to attempt another one, maybe something bigger and something bigger and something, you understand? But like minds coming together, taking on a project, a simple project, especially, let's just not be grandiose like some of these conferences that you go and hear all these grandiose ideas. Just something simple towards our liberty.
Yes, yes.
And succeeding in it, and growing from there and taking on something else. And that collective group working together as like minds, keep succeeding. It empowers them, it validates them, and it authorizes them.
Rastafari. I get you.
There's no other way. If any other way we keep on trying the same thing, we keep on trying thinking, there's just a human flaw in us.
And we have to make up our, I mean, we have to make up our mind that, hey, some people are going to be with this, and those of us who see the need have to just go forward.
Well, I'm going to use the declaration again as an example of that. The declaration that Mama Desta was a part of. It was a clarion call made by Empress Marina Blake, an attorney at law again, Rastafari, Bobo Ashanti, Empress. She made that clarion call to I and I to come sit down at a table and discuss some issues that were taking place that were perturbing her, that perturbed all of us. So many of us answered the call. All kinds of ones came on the collective, you know, virtual gathering. And, you know, like everything else, you know, some ones don't have the time, so all different reasons, until it found itself out to the hardcore. You had several attorneys. Ras Miguel was part of it. Mama D, like I said, Empress Marina. Then you had other professionals in different areas. We did webinars with all kinds of professional doctors, social workers, all different kinds of ones. Bingy Flako was on one of them. I mean, we used all the information we gathered and we brought it to the table. I was part of the collective. And in dealing with it, we came to that acknowledgement that here now, there's ones here from all groups, from different mansions here. Okay, it's a collective of like minds sitting down to do a task. We are not going to get the authorization from the Bubble House. We're not going to get the authorization from the Bingy House. We're not going to get the authorization from the 12 Tribe House. Should we do it or shouldn't we do it then? Now, the measure of a man is taking on his responsibility. See, when I was a child, I did as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. If after I and I, each of us sitting around that table had at least 40 years in the tribe, okay? And then you have man like Ras Miguel, I and I, different ones with 50 years, 60 years in the tribe. If I and I at this point cannot represent the tribe, only one thing could discount us from doing that is our character, if it is shady, if I and I was known for doing things that are reproachable. But with I and I, all who sat at that table is proven workers. Yes, not everyone will like everyone and all of these different things. And we can, if you're looking for flaws, you're going to find flaws in all of us. Yes, we're not talking about perfect people. We're talking about devoted people, heartical people, who, whatever we do it on behalf of Rastafari, on behalf of the collective. I don't do it on behalf of Bobo. Even as a Bobo, long-standing Bobo, that I've been a Bobo Ashanti from 12 years of age until this hour. See, I don't work on behalf of Bobo Ashanti. I work on behalf of my nation of people, the African nation. See, And I represent the Rastafari movement as a Rastafari. I am a Bobo priest, but I am Rastafari. You understand? My personal choice of mansion, when I step out the door, I leave that secure. Because when I step out, it's Black nationalism I represent, like what Garvey represents. The Blackness, the trueness of Blackness, the Africanness. You understand? That is what binds us together. See, the little petty foolishness, like Bingy said, to touch on some of the things he said, the flag issues, the food issues, and those simple foolishness. I don't even reason about them things there, because them things there's petty isms that we must be passed by now. If in the 21st century, in 2022, we're still talking about flag up, flag down, and all of these different issues, so it would be a sad thing, you know. Like we said, we have too many examples. The OAU as the biggest one. We will be continuously using that because it sits right there in front of our face, wherein people didn't know what was good for them until it was shown. And deviously they were brought to the table. And when they came to the table, they saw, wow, you know, so this thing are really nice. This thing I work good, you know. This thing can really help you, you know. And it became stronger and stronger, and see what it is today. It's the AU.
Yes, right.
So
yes,
if we don't start, somewhere, if the like come together, it won't happen. The like minds, if you're waiting on authorization from very limitedly educated masses. Mine is a poor and have not tried, you know. Many of I and I, it's just the younger generation now that has gotten advanced education. The ones we're looking to give you authority, especially previously. You know, for the last couple of years, nobody's been in any seat of authority. None of the houses have it. You can't identify no authority group in any of the houses. Them just restructuring. But prior to that, who we were looking to give us validation and authorization had limited education, understood certain things to a level. They were very wise in their understanding of life, but technical issues that needed specific skill sets. Like if you're going to deal with legal matters, you need a lawyer. If you're going to build a house, you need a mason and so forth. See, special skill sets, they didn't have that. So certain level of paperwork, certain methodologies, certain protocols, they weren't up on those. But I and I generation don't have that excuse. We know Robert rules of law. We know what are non-profit, what are NGOs. We know all of these things. These things are common knowledge. We don't have that excuse. Our thing is the ego, this arrogance. What makes us think? What has Bobo done that makes Bobo this super special group? What have we done why we should be pushed to the head of any line? Have we solved poverty? Have we solved disunity? Have we redeemed Mother Africa? Have we saved souls? How many souls have we saved today? What have we done? What have we cured cancer? I don't know what we have done why any group would think that they are the ultimate. We are all fingers of the same arm, all valuable to the hand if we function together. That's the only way we become valuable. Your arm is, if each finger start to go up on its own and do its own thing, you can't hold nothing, you know, you can't do nothing, you can't type on your computer or nothing, because each finger wants to do its own thing. But when they're working as an hand, when it's working as a full hand, the arm, everything is working, then we can do what we need to do. And that's all we are. We're fingers on the same arm, Rasta. None better than none. We're all struggling against the same enemy. Poverty, racism, injustice, inequality. All of these things, not different with the eye in Antigua or St. Lucia. There's no difference. We're facing the same enemy. It's not different for the Bobo, the Bingy, the 12 tribe. So we are myopic in thinking because we wrap our head with different from with 12 tribe brethren who are struggling in my day after the same thing. Lack of needs, lack of comforts, realities.
Food, clothes, and shelter. Yes, Rastafari, Bongo Flako, we're gonna look to seal up. I know that might still take a little time too, but I know you still have plenty to say still, but and you could say your sealing remarks. You could make your sealing remarks, anything on the subject area that we touched tonight. A few things running through my mind as far as what we talk about, but man, we can go on and go on and go on with the discussion. Give thanks to Priest Dougie with that point of view there. But well, Honorable Priest Dougie, you're gonna still come back around to you for your sealing words too. But
and don't leave the woman them outside, my brethren. Don't leave the queen them outside. We not touch upon the queen them in this talk. I hear a Bongo Flako officer about the angle too. I don't hear too much queen, in an authority position. And the queen them have little more motherly care and love in them more than we more time. See, it's time for the woman them to be brought up front.
I'll leave that for you, Bongo Flako. Blessed love. Yes, Bingy, go through. Oh, you're behind.
It's far right.
Yes,
I give thanks for the reason and the strength same way. But there's a problem or situation with the age group of over 60, knowing that the journey was rough coming up and not many ones have a home, not many ones can pay rent and pay bills, and we are facing a situation when it comes to Rastafari welfare. And Rastafari, we can find daily food, and Rastafari, there's no market or there's no farm source that you could get the right food. And there are many situations that ones are getting hungry or unable to feed themselves and pay bills. And that should be a collective effort among Rastafari to deal with, knowing that the age must be protected and the sick nourished and the infant cared for. Naked clothes, that's a fundamental ruling for all Rastafari. Not a big yellow, it's a universal humanitarian needs. And within my circles, I realize that I have dealt with many instances like those, providing welfare, providing help, providing sourcing funds here and there, because there's a need within that journey, So within the same Organize and Centralize, we have to identify the needs now of Rastafari above a certain age group. Are they living, or are they eating? What is their food source? What are their one of my patients, I just take him to the doctor. He has a spinal problem, where his spine is in an S-curve shape. And due to the smoking habit, this tobacco smoking and this herb smoking, we have to have medical seminars about ones. So and I'm saying smoking is bad enough, but there are certain ones who have medical problems. So they will be fully advised before it gets worse. So we need more health issues, health forums, because we need to maintain who is here. We need to be conscious that they are within a certain age category, and if we are not mindful of them, no money can help. And that they come back to, as Priest Dougie said, education level. We are at an education level now that we are learning holistic living, nutrition, and that sort of thing. And we have medical doctors saying we are Rastafari. So we have to look into how best can we preserve those who are older, how can we care more for them? Because we need them around. And there are many of them who we need to interview to find out their journey, to find out how they're grown up as a youth, how they think about Rastafari. I'm trying my best to do that through Wise Mind publication. I was very sad that Miss Marshanti. I was not able to talk to her, because when I talked to Marshanti, I had Alzheimer's. And she was not able to share our youthful knowledge. So we miss a lot of things, So we have to be more alert and more aware of those who are in our surroundings, and be more humanitarian. As His Majesty would say, visit the sick, care for the sick, care for the needy, and show more love and compassion for Rastafari.
Yeah, man. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks, you know. I know we could stay forever now, but just mindful of the time and, you know, in respect of time. Honorable Priest Dougie, sealing remarks. You know, we'll do it again now. It's a lot of information for the audience, you know. Give thanks for the strength tonight, I tell you. Yes, my Lord. Pardon me.
Yeah, man. Unity without uniformity, you know. That is what we have to seek from, you know. We can't look for everyone to be like us, you know, and to be part of our structure, you know. That is where the brotherhood of man come in, you know. We have to love unconditionally. This condition thing where we place out there, you know. The only thing that we oppose is evil, you know. The only thing that we burn is wrong, you know. We don't come to fight against flesh and blood. Spiritual wickedness in high and low places. We love our brethren. We love our bald brethren who, you understand, who don't have no locks on him head. We love him same way. It's the heart of man that come for occupy, not the head of man. The locks is only an outward representation of what the inner man is. You know, so I man thing, I will leave with I man brothers and sisters right now is, you know, let us forge this unity without uniformity. Like minds, we have to fulfill our Father's mandate. None of us not going to have any excuse, you know. I can't say it's because Priest Isaac, you know, or because Bingi Flako I never fulfill my destiny, you know. I am duty bound to fulfill my destiny. And I destiny. Why we do this? Why we take time out to do a interview like this? It's a job. This is not just to hear our voices. It's a job. We are trying to educate our people, that our people can see the value of themselves and the value of structure. For the welfare aspect of things that Bingi Flako just spoke of, which is ultimate, the creed, that creed that we chant at every gathering, that we teach our children, that we're supposed to live by, because it is what you call the basic humanitarian rules. That's what the creed is, to remind us of our duty, okay? But to achieve that, it takes structure. This lawless attitude, this not wanting to adhere to protocol, adhere to the chain of command. How are you going to reverence the king and the queen and the realm of God if you don't have principle in yourself and know that principle have to govern man? For man to proclaim himself as being Rastafari, head creator, principle has to govern I and I. See? So let us work together, my brethren, put aside the petty things and bring the sisters up front. I am here right now. We have a group of sisters right here in Jamaica who was part of this Respect Rastafari initiative, who are working together. I love that. I love to see these sisters, bright sisters, you know, with their skill sets that are devoting their time now. Them take with themselves from the corporate world and I give 1/10 of them time now to the movement. So we want to see more of that and bring these sisters up front. No, you don't just have them as secretaries, just taking our dictate. But hear from them, what's their opinion, what's their idea on the initiatives that we are working on. Because I guarantee you we're going to get some great ideas. See, sure. We have to come away from these people. Yeah, these little backward thinking that the woman and poor just sit down on her back. See, equality and justice stand for all. We are equal, but separate, different, male, female, equal, but we have two different roles. And from we acknowledge that, we fulfill what we came here to fulfill. The king and the queen working in unison. Just like how I and I, brethren and brethren, supposed to be working in unison, sister and sister, sister and brother. See, unity. Make we leave that strong in your head tonight. Unity is the only way that we will survive in the 21st century. The pandemic is the greatest example. Give thanks.
Yes, my Lord and my Lord, give thanks. You know, and I think one thing I am we got from tonight, as you say, unity, love. There was a mention of a unified constitution for all Rastafari in general. You know, I'm looking forward to all of this as far as oneness within Rastafari, especially from the outside, in a sense. Those who see Rastafari understand this is a oneness, a government. Many people that are not Rastafari, you know, they're not too sure what they're looking at. You know, some believe we are more empire than we are. Some believe we're more united than we are. That's just reality, you know. So it would be good because, I mean, internationally,
and forgiveness, you know. We have to remember what Bingi Flako ended with a while ago, you know. You brought up a key thing: forgiveness, forgiveness, atonement, forgiveness. You understand that moment of you have to first forgive yourself and then forgive others.
Isn't there that day of atonement being planned, Rastafari?
Yes. So I hope everyone is listening out and have them ears ready. Because when the trumpet call, let I and I all answer in whatever way we can, because we are working on that moment. You understand?
Okay. Yes, I know I heard wind of it. Yeah.
That they have a tone. Yes, sir.
At 1 minute. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that as well. Well, give thanks, you know, my Lord and my Lord. All blessing and royalty to the family. And, you know, we'll continue the discussion, but it's more than discussion, is works. And I know the item definitely on the work. So, Honorable Bingi Flako, if that's it. I don't know if you have any other thing to say. If not, give thanks, my Lord.
Good. And the reason is very educative and enlightening. And, you know, and I know no bias, and I know speaking things as they are. And the drive is to make it better. We have identified problems and we have identified some solutions. It's now to move towards the solutions. And the unity is very important. Because it's one Haile Selassie, one impressment. And that the template is set from His Majesty's throne room. And that is what we have to apply. If we remain as Rastafari.
Yeah, man. Rastafari, my Lord, give thanks.
Glorify, glorify.
Give thanks. Honorable Priest Dougie, I will let you go as well. Love and Majesty King. All right, family, give thanks for the life giver and the keeper of life, and Haile Selassie I. For sure, this is a video that was definitely premiering, so I'm very thankful for those who were with us for the fullness. Give thanks for such reasoning from the elders specifically. And of course, all was wonderful. As I said, this was being premiered, so I could imagine in the chat how many people are giving their opinion, but the subject area was good. Since I'm here, let me just remind you of the Tiger's Nest. That is on Radio Anu. Those of you who are not subscribers to this radio program, this is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on Radio Anu International. I'm talking about the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. You visit our website, which is priestisaacinstitute.com, and that will carry you to Radio Anu. In fact, all the links for Radio Anu and the Priest Isaac's Institute is in the description just below this video here. So wonderful. Check us on the Tiger's Nest. Check out Radio Anu even now. When we are sealed tonight, just check out Radio Anu and it will carry you straight to the vibration. But yes, family, the reasoning was upful. What do you think about that vibes there with, you know, the unity amongst Rastafari? This is the emperor, you know, that said that we should organize and centralize. I'm hoping to have a part 2 of that discussion. There was a lot of things that was said that I could question and comment on, but you know, when you are leading a discussion, especially when you're moderating it, you have to know how to bring it in, because we'll be here all night and it's not set for that at the moment. But for sure, it is not a task that will be as simple as it sounds. But I know for sure there are those within Rastafari that it is their heart to see that unity amongst I to the point, not just love and unity, you know, but an organized unity. And as I said, that could never happen really unless the different groups and the different houses, if you would call it, would definitely become organized themselves. And then you could have that mandate of centralize. And I think it's a level of humility, you know, because for sure, as a member of the Ethiopian Africa Black International Congress, I'm not a Bobo Shanti just because I chose this mansion of the mansions, you know. You know, is the truth I looking for? I looking for the truth. God I went looking for, eh? God Almighty. And Haile Selassie being such, but there's a way, there's an order, Melchizedek, Christ, and the fullness. So that is why I am where I am as Bobo Shanti. And I stand for the principles of the Bobo Shanti, you know, and that's it. But at the same time, I don't have to leave my principles to be able to work with someone else with different principles. And I was going to say slightly different because in a sense it's slightly, because it's all one Rastafari. You understand? I always say, you know, some of us, we cannot deal with the next brethren because he have a slightly different idea than you. The red up and the red down idea, but yet still, and all you believe in Emmanuel, and that's not how it go, and you vex with your brethren. You don't even talk to him because of that. And yet still your wife or girlfriend is so far removed from Rastafari. You know, she's a Jehovah Witness, or well, maybe not a Jehovah Witness, because she may not be with you if she was that, but she's a Seventh-day Adventist. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking at nobody's life. I'm not judging nobody's life. I'm just showing you that if you can be at such odds with your brethren, because both of you as Rastafari have a slight difference over which day is the Sabbath. So the point, so because of that, you so vexed with him that you pass him on the street because he hailing Emmanuel and you not into that. But yet still, the person who you comfort yourself in their bosom don't even check for Haile Selassie, and you work with that. That's a reality. That's what's happening. So that alone shows us that we need to check ourselves and balance off our mentality, how we deal with this thing. A simple thing like that. This is why you see the unity is lacking, a simple thing like that. Of course, you see we highlighting here the International Homeschooler Program, the biology edition. How many of you have already signed up for the biology aspect of the International Homeschool Program? That's a must, family. Make sure you get your, you enroll your young ones, enroll yourself today. And we're talking about showing the youth all about the anatomy, what's inside of me, from the skeletal system, from the circulatory system. They will learn about the atom. They will learn about the cell. They will learn about so many different things. Looking forward to you in our international homeschool class. All right, family, do I have anything else to share with you? Oh, of course, Rastafari Experience Antigua. We're talking about Spring Equinox 2022, and this is from Friday the 18th to Thursday the 24th day of March. All right, so many things will be taking place on this affair. We have the double hike the Green Castle Hill. We have the cannabis tour. We definitely have the astronomy watch night. Wow, we have the yoga retreat. Look, so many things taking place. I'll be doing a program specifically on this event very soon. And keep in mind, you can contact us via email, via the Institute website. And of course, you can WhatsApp us. All things Rastafari Experience Antigua, area code 268-714-1227. All things Rastafari Experience Antigua, that's for sure. 714, area code again, 268-1268. 714-1227. Very important. And all things Rastafari Experience Antigua. And at the same time, Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge, 728-8289. Especially if you need more information on the yoga retreat, which is also going to be virtual. The whole event will be virtual. So even if you're not coming through, you definitely will be a part of it. Family, give thanks for your presence, give thanks for the reasoning, give thanks for the discussion. It was a joy. And I really pray that it was, you know, benefit to you. I hope we would have comforted you, that you could have sat with us and full joy the vibes. And, you know, we spent a moment together. And I pray for all blessings and prosperity for you and yours going forward. Life giver and the keeper of life. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari, blessed love.